Let's let people in for Marketing for Results. Good morning, everybody.
Morning, James.
Good morning, Candice. This is a live workshop, so you are allowed to appreciate you putting yourself on mute if you've got things going on in the background, but participation is actively allowed and encouraged. Good morning, Alex, Jessica, Natalie. How is everyone today?
Yeah, doing quite good.
Good. Glad to hear it. Can everyone see? We'll just do a quick test. Can everyone see the screen I'm sharing as well as me? Obviously, the screen's more important. Can everyone see that?
Yes.
Excellent. Thank you very much indeed. So for those of people that have turned up on time, we will kick off in earnest, and then hopefully Lauren from the team is also on the call, and she can let people in as we go along. So first of all, for anyone who's not familiar with ActionCOACH, we're a coaching firm based in Tring, and we're a team of 3 coaches. Myself with a marketing background, my fellow coach Lorna with a banking background, and our founding partner Simon, who's got all kinds of background in IT, sales, and selling a raft of different businesses. And basically our focus is to support ambitious business owners achieve more, both for them and their businesses. It's as simple as that. But you guys have all come to listen to a webinar and get some insight into marketing and marketing return on investment. And today that's what we're going to cover. So let's just check in. Let's make sure everyone adjusts their environment, closes the window, cuts down any phone or distractions like that that's going to get in your way. And I'll also ask you to open your mind. Yeah. You know, some of the stuff that we tell you is going to be stuff that you may have heard before, but think how you can apply it differently to your business today or tomorrow. And throughout, I'm going to be provoking some thought and asking questions. So absolutely fine if you want to leave your video off and listen, but please do participate in the chat. And one of the things that we say at ActionCOACH is the only failure is the failure to participate. Yeah. So as a child, you no doubt fell down many times when you started to learn to walk. That's absolutely normal, and the same thing can be true in business. So my first question for you, if you're familiar with the chat box feature, is to ask you how active and engaged are you going to be at this session this morning. Give yourself, please, a mark out of 10 in the chat room. Thank you. Got some submissions coming in. Got a nice 10 coming in. A few varied scores. Thanks for your honesty. And ask yourself also what you want to take out of the session today. If there's a burning thing that you want to do from the session. And that might be personal to you, but if it is something you want to share, then please feel free to do so. My theme for today is all about relationships, valuable relationships. And we're going to focus on people. We're going to focus on people, value, and profit. And here's some of the some of the questions that we might look at. So what you want to do is you want to make sure that you get a return on your marketing investments. This is my perspective for today. So who is your audience? Yeah. What do they need and want is really what we're asking there. How do you develop an effective marketing strategy is another question. And my question to that is, what exactly are you trying to do? And at what stage? We'll come on to the different stages later on. But essentially you're asking, what do your audience want? What are you trying to do? And the third question I've been posed for today is, what key KPIs should I be tracking? And here we're really looking at what needs to happen. And if you know what needs to happen, also ask yourself what you can do with the information. If you know that you can act upon the information that you are tracking and collecting, you can then make a difference and move forward. Is there anyone else? Has anyone got any additions to that in terms of their expectations or something they would like out of today? Then put it in the chat. Lauren, please highlight it to me if there's something I miss going on in the chat. So I'm going to start really simply and ask, what is marketing? Because if you're going to invest, if you're going to measure your return on investment, we need to agree what it is. What do people think that its main purpose is? Feel free to come off mute and shout out. Or I might pick on someone. Chris, what do you think marketing is all about? He's still on mute. On mute or thinking.
So it's telling everybody about what you do and trying to promote your business.
That very much is a part of marketing. Thank you, Chris. I'm going to start us all off with a common definition. This is a CIM, Chartered Institute of Marketing definition, and they define it as the management process which identifies, anticipates, and supplies customer requirements efficiently and profitably. And that should be something that's integral to your whole company and business plan. The astute of you will notice that I've highlighted a couple of words because I like to keep things simple so you can act on them. So what marketing is about for me is people's needs and business needs. And that is generally profit. There are other needs, of course, but profit is often the number one for the majority of businesses, which is why today I'm talking about just two P's, people and profit, and something that they both have in common. And the thing that they both have in common is we need to create value. We need to create value for the people that we are serving, be it a product or a service, and we need to create value for the business in the form of profit, or it could be in the form of the higher purpose of the business and additional elements as well. So relationship matters, but which relationships? What relationships are we going to look at? So the key relationships related to people and profit that I want to consider are the relationships between people's needs and our ability to satisfy them. And when it comes on to measuring those, I want to look at the relationships between the activities we do, let's call them the marketing activities, and the outcomes we achieve. And then the difference between the outcomes that we achieve and the result we get. Because whilst our primary purpose is profit, it's not always easy to measure that directly when we are talking about marketing campaigns. So often we have to measure the activity and the outcome and the impact they have on the final result, which is profit. So let's start with people. I said I was going to talk about two things. And following on the relationship analogy, any relationship goes through various stages. This isn't an action coach model. It's a visual I've taken from the internet. But obviously, you start off not knowing somebody from the question mark, and hopefully the end game after a number of different stages is having a long-term sustainable relationship with your customer, continuing to supply people products. And that question mark at the beginning is the question mark of who we're going to target. Who are we going to talk to? Because we need to strike up a conversation with these people. And sometimes we might need to do a bit of exploratory research first off, analyze the market, and help us define that target audience. So we start with a target market and a buyer persona for our business. So how do you define your target market? Is there any, what do people do currently? Do enter it into the chat or shout it out. I don't mind, depending on how you're operating. I know there's a couple of people who've got a few kids in the background and they're kindly staying on mute for the benefit of all. So obviously some of the common elements you might have in there are the demographic factors like age, income, marital status, psychographic factors, personal interests, lifestyle preferences, perhaps purchasing cycles. And if you go a bit deeper, you get onto a persona or an avatar, some people call it, and that starts to give you a fictional idea of your ideal customer. Yeah, so it might include, if you're in a business, it might include their business background, their content preferences, some of the things they want to achieve, and more commonly or not, their ambitions or their frustrations and challenges. Yeah, we've had one comment.
It's me, James.
Excellent.
Sorry, no one was answering you.
Thank you very much, Candice. I appreciate your participation. Yeah, knowing your customers is really, 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 really powerful. I've just been working with a relatively new client that knew very little about his customers, and through a few simple to execute surveys, what we're able to achieve now and what we're able to act upon is already starting to achieve results. So it's really powerful understanding and knowing your consumer. So the question that I want you to all ask, and you don't have to do this in the room, but take this away and ask it for yourself, because it's a key question, is how well do you know your ideal customers? Think about that. Again, put a mark out of 10 in the chat. Yeah, in terms of how well you know your ideal customers. Can you talk to their specific pain points? Yeah, can you talk their language? Excellent. We've got some 7s and 8s coming in. Fantastic. To those people, so we've already got some good knowledge of customers. If you knew them better, could you use the insight to your advantage? So if you're at a 6 or a 7 or an 8, yeah, then knowing them better, getting that up 1 or 2 points is something that you can use to your advantage within your marketing plan. So it's all about understanding people's needs. And the first thing, before I get to the common area of marketing, and Chris kindly highlighted this for us earlier, which is more about communications, or the 4 Ps, the seven Ps, if you like. That's people, the stuff in the middle there, meeting their needs, looking at your product or service, deciding your price, deciding your place or channel, deciding the promotion. That includes all of the communications. And then in a service industry, people, process, physical evidence or experience. That's the common definition of marketing and the marketing mix. But I want to dial you back a stage first for stuff that you can do before you get to defining all of those things. Because in our definition, we had to identify the need. That was the first job of marketing. So before you, wow, it's windy where I am, blowing away. Before you make or design your product or services, you need to know what people need. So you can do this by asking them, or observing them, and getting a real in-depth understanding of their problems, needs, and then you can validate your product, your opportunity areas. Now, of course, most people on this call have probably already got a business and they know what they sell, and they'll have some of their Ps already lined up. So whilst this is pre, and ideally you do it at the beginning, there's nothing stopping you doing this as a refinement exercise to tweak your offer to meet people's needs, or tweak the communication of your offer to best appeal to them. And the one tip I want to give you here, little tip, this is from innovation design thinking, is to fall in love with the problem first. Don't leap in with the solution. Yeah, there's a lovely little quote from Einstein there. But really ask those questions to discover people's needs first, both their functional needs and their emotional needs. Because understanding that will allow you to empathize with your audience, talk to them in the right way, and the design and or test your products or communications to make sure that they are right. The other little tip is to be really clear about what you're fixing and see if you can take it to a higher level. See if you can dig deeper. The classic example people always use here is a drill. Yeah. So I'm trying to sell a drill. Do you actually need a drill? The consumer, if you on the next level down, doesn't need a drill. They want a hole in the wall. And actually on the next level down, they don't want a hole in the wall. They want their picture hanging. And on the next level down, they just want to make their living room good with that lovely family picture that nobody's put up for 3 weeks. So dig a level down, because if you can talk to that higher level of people, you'll be tapping into more emotion. Which is why you really, when I say what they need, it's not I need a dishwasher. Yeah. Why do they need a dishwasher? What functions do they need? What happens if their dishwasher goes wrong? What does that cause? And as soon as you start asking that level of questions, you're digging into a depth of emotion that you can start talking to. This is something that you can also take away and do, which is to define the criteria of your ideal customer. And then you can classify them. We use an ABCD classification. Exactly what you put within those classifications will vary on your business and type of customers. But the simple process here is to really decide who your A customers are, those awesome people that you want to deal with. It might be somebody that spends a lot of money, you spend no time with, and they repeat every five weeks on their order. You'll have a level down, B, that are still really attractive customers that just aren't quite awesome yet. And then potentially there's a line with people that are a bit awkward to deal with that you would rather not have. Yeah. And then those be people in the D column that just waste more time and your resources if you really looked at it, rather than added to your business. That's crossed out because that's a waste of time. The ones that are the C's, you've got the opportunity to upgrade them or downgrade them, and to see whether they're right for your business. And to be honest, if a customer is a D, you're just as well giving them to your competitor, because they'll waste their time instead of yours. So let's check in, and I'll ask that. I've asked a few more questions there in terms of depth. So would you change your score? This is a repeat slide on how well you know your ideal customers. I'll leave you to ponder that. So that's the good relationship groundwork done. Yeah, we know who they are and how we can satisfy our needs. Let's move on to the value. Yeah. Okay. Sorry. Picture of ice cream. Everyone likes ice cream. Yeah. There'll always be one, but it's deliberately vanilla. Yeah, because everyone likes ice cream, but it doesn't stand out, and that's something that we also need to consider with our marketing. Are you appeal to something that everyone can like, or that a few people, the right people, can love? And this is my own way of looking at it, to simplify it, is I say that we're looking for stuff that's in common. So this is your persona, your target market, that avatar. What have those people got in common that you can talk to? Yeah. But you're also looking for you versus the market. What is uncommon? What is unique, different, or stands out about you that appeals to that tribe of people that have got something in common? Those are the two things you want to link together. People talk about target market and USP. Those are the terms. Ideally, you're saying, what have we got that's special, that stands out, that these people are going to need, want, or aspire to have? And if you can link those together, then you're starting to drive real value. So ask yourself, what is your USP, or your USP for different customer sets? And then ask yourself, how many people really know about it? How many people know about your wow factor as a business? You may have even gone through an exercise with a marketeer and you've got it written down in a folder somewhere what your USP is, but how many people know about it? That's my question for you. Does anyone want to share a percentage? Please do so in the chat box in terms of how many people you think know about your USP. Don't be shy. Okay, we've got some low marks. So thank you very much for your honesty, and that's great. You've got a load of opportunity there to tell them. So let's move on. So I wanted to just put a word of caution in here, because we want this relationship not only to be attractive to the other person, i.e. that you magnetizing them towards you. We want it to be a sustainable relationship that you benefit from as well, because that's the whole point of business, right? So this is the point of which we need to make sure that for the people that we know who they are and we know how to satisfy their needs, we need to make sure that the solution we offer them is a profitable solution for us. If we just focus on the people and not the internal profit, then we're only fooling ourselves. And this is where value alignment comes in. Some people call it price, but I'm more keen to call it value. And I'll put up this quote just to make the point. Yeah. Someone may desire what you offer, but that does not mean they value what you do. Yeah. So, somebody may offer me a solution, and so I like, what is it? Okay, well, I get annoyed when I go onto Netflix and I can't find my program where I left off. That's a problem for me as a customer. Yeah. And if somebody offered me a solution and said, would you like this solution? I'd say yes. If they then turn around, and I'm being ridiculous here, and said that's going to cost you an extra £10 a month for that solution. Now, I'm going to quite clearly say no. I don't value the solution that much. So it's important that you understand what value they put on the solution. And that's a really key question when you're considering your P within the pricing for your business. It's what they value it at. Doesn't matter so much what your competition are doing or what it might cost you to operate. Obviously, you have to be cognizant of your competition and aware of what they're doing. And it is key that you run at a profit, so that you have to take into account your costs. But the most important determining thing in determining price is what your customers value. There is also the window of opportunity. And I think if you understand your customers better, this will help widen your window of opportunity to the right types of people. Yeah. And you can also be happy to close the window a bit for those that you don't want coming in, a process that we call deselection. If it's not your tribe of people who are not your ideal customers, who don't value what you offer, then you probably don't want to let them in. And it's worth remembering this when you're setting up your plans, and also when you're measuring them, because we're talking about the plans. That again, it will also depend on your industry, but there will be a small percentage of people that are ready to buy immediately. They will see your communications and think, yes, absolutely, I want that, let's buy it. Yeah. There will be a bigger chunk of people, let's call it a third of people, that'll be willing to buy at some point. So, I like the idea of going on a holiday. They look good. I'm not going to book that. I haven't got the money at the moment. We'll see what happens in April. Yeah, so they are a different kind of customer. They're still a customer. They might be your ideal customer, but depending what you're put in front of them at that point in time, is you tapping into their window of opportunity. So to bear that in mind, particularly when you're measuring stuff, because you need to know when they need the product or service is a very important question within your mix, because then you can actually convert what might be a no if you gave them a direct ask today to a yes if it's keeping in touch with them over 3 months. So when they're ready, they are with you and on board. So let's move on to relationship choices. I've called this relationship choices. It could be called marketing strategy, but quite simply, strategy is about making choices of how we achieve our goals whilst delivering to the value creation we want to do for our customers. And in keeping with the relationship theme, is this appropriate dress for a first date? I think this was actually done for cancer charity. And I can see you all laughing because he does look a bit scruffy, isn't it? They have both already agreed that they were going to marry and have kids someday in their profiles, and so she's made a lot of effort, and he looks quite scruffy, doesn't he? Of course, I'm joking, but I've deliberately put that up to make a point, because we're building a relationship here and building value. And even if that we are completely agreed at what the end point is going to be, that might not be the point that we start at. Yeah, we have to build to that. There will be we work in social norms, as this example illustrates. So is there an alternative to chance? If you're entering an important relationship, do we leave it to chance? What's the alternative? The alternative is quite simple. The alternative is to have a goal, know exactly what success looks like, and then have a plan. How are you going to get there? What actions and what outcomes are going to deliver the result you want? And importantly, for most marketing, particularly B2B, you'll have to break that down into a number of steps. Yeah, we're not going to focus on detailed planning. That's next Friday in growth club. Anyone wants any information on that, then I'm sure Lauren can send you details. But let's look at how we're going to build those relationships along the way. So have you got a written plan with your goals in, and is that clear? Because if it's not written down, it's really going to hamper your efforts when you come to marketing, because we're there to support the plan and the objectives of your business. So I want to talk very briefly about investing in relationships at the different stages. So this is a common AIDA model. So if you're dealing with consumers, you might start off from the top with people that are not aware of you completely. So that your job is more about advertising and making people aware, right through to engaging interests and informing a decision. Yeah. And you will employ different activities within your marketing depending on which levels you are looking at, which area of the customer journey or the customer relationship you're in. And at each stage, you want to be building up value. Yeah. And there's lots of different models that you can see. This is another example, a bit more complicated. The key point to note is there are different stages. Doesn't particularly matter which model that you use. That will depend on a number of factors, whether you're running a B2B or a B2C business, and probably the value and the importance of the purchase are key. If you're going down the shop to buy a bar of chocolate, it's very simple. You can go from being aware of it to quick evaluation to let's buy it. If you're going to invest in a £10,000 kitchen for your home, you'll go through some more stages, some more opportunities to build the value together. So that's something that you need to consider for your business, and make sure you're using the right activities at the right level. And here's another one. I just put this in a bit of fun because I like this one. It's the pirate funnel, because it's about R. So awareness, acquisition, and activation, and then retention, revenue, and referral. Yeah, and I put this one in for the key reasons that people often focus on all the A's. They focus on the awareness, getting people in, and they have less focus on looking after some of the customers they've got, building the revenue from people they know, asking for referrals, making it easy for people. Your easy money is in the R. Yeah. More investment is required in the A. So yeah, there's a pirate funnel there, but it's more than a joke. Yeah. So the way we look at it at ActionCOACH is we use something called the ladder of loyalty, and I'm going to step you through this. And while I'm stepping you through it, I'd like you to think of what activities you might do at these stages and how you might measure them. So the bottom of the ladder, we have what we call a suspect. So a suspect is anyone that fits your target market. Yeah. The next rung is a prospect. A prospect has taken action and you know about it. So you knowing about it is important, because if they've taken action and you don't know about it, that's kind of advertising of old. You're not tracking and measuring it. A shopper is somebody who buys once anything. You know, so you might have an art gallery, and when you go into an art gallery, there's always a a number of cards there, aren't there? They're easy purchases. Yeah, they may cost you £3. That is still a shopper for that art gallery. They've spent some money. A customer, we define them as somebody who's bought a second time. You know, so you might ask your questions: would I communicate to a shopper or a customer in a different way? What would I do for them, and how can I track that? And then you up a level to what we call a member. So it doesn't necessarily have to be a membership club in the formal sense of it, but it can be a feeling of belonging. Now that might come from just being in a tribe of people and feeling part of what you offer without you doing any kind of loyalty scheme. It could be as simple as the kind of stuff that you get in a Costa, where you get 3 stamps and you get a free drink after 10, or it could be some lavish club, if you like. Then you move up to what we call an advocate. Now, an advocate will tell others about you. Wow, I had a great service from these people. You really must check them out. And then beyond that, and the ideal to reach, is a raving fan. And the raving fan is somebody who goes and tells absolutely everyone they know about you. In fact, they do your selling for you. Yeah. So whilst we often think of the funnel, yeah, and raising people through all of these levels, the important thing I think also to remember is how your customers, members, advocates, raving fans can bring people in for you. And if you're bringing people in for you, you're bringing them in a higher level of understanding. You're having a different conversation, and they are more likely to convert to your business. You haven't got to go through all of the same relationship stages. You haven't got to start with blind dates at the bottom. You can go straight for a meal with friends somewhere in the middle. Yeah. So let's have a quick wrap up of where we are so far. So we've got we're clear on the people that we're targeting. We're clear on the value that we need to offer to them, and we're clear on the goals and the plan, our defined path to success. And we know the value that we need to communicate to them at each stage of the process. So what about the return on investment? Quite simply, your return on investment does have to be linked to what you want to achieve. And we talked about profit being the ultimate goal, along perhaps with your purpose. But how do we measure that? And sometimes there's not a direct correlation. So we talk about marketing being maths, yeah. So what you invest in is going to get some focus. You will have all heard what you measure, you manage. What you can see, you can act upon. So make your results visible to the team. Make your goals visible to you and the people we work on, so you can act upon them. And what you start to manage, you can start to improve. So going back to your journey, if you like, of the relationships and the different activities you would employ at different stages of the journey, those are the things that you want to start to measure, so you can understand the relationship between the activities and the results and their impact on the end result, which is profit. And we generally look at 5 things to keep things simple, because profit, along with customers and revenue, is the result. But we look at a number of things, and these are things that I would encourage you to include within your measures in terms of tracking your return on investment. So how many leads are you getting? What is the conversion rate? i.e. how many of those leads actually convert to become a customer or a shopper? And then look at the transaction value. So how many times are those people transacting with you per year? And what is their average sale value? Because of all of these stages, you have opportunities to upgrade the value. And if you've got opportunities to upgrade the value, you've got opportunities to upgrade the profit, because you've made sure that those two things are aligned right at the beginning. So if they shop with you one more time in the year, that will drop down to your bottom line. If you're able to add value to your proposition, a simple one would be an upsell. McDonald's is the most famous one. Would you like fries with that? It's an upsell. It's a no-brainer, but you've added value and profit to your your proposition. You know, some people do it in a more devious way. So I don't know, airlines. You know, you buy a nice cheap flight, and then you've got about 20 options that are adding value. I wouldn't say that's the sort of proactive value adding, but that's the strategy they're taking to get people in and then derive more value from it. And if you were to look at all of those and just get a 10% increase on your leads, your conversion rate, your number of transactions, your value, and your gross profit, those 5 areas, what increase do you think you're going to get? You can see the numbers there for anyone's quick at maths. Yeah, what increase do you think you're going to get in your profit if you just got 10% increase across all of those areas? 61% increase in your profit. So when you've broken down your plan, look at all of the areas, because this is a real key to profitability within your business. It's not just about putting people in at the top and having people fall away as you go down. There's opportunities to build value throughout the journey and the process. I wanted to touch quickly on KPIs, return on investment, CLV. What's all that? So let me first of all explain what they are, just in case you're not familiar with those TLAs. So people probably know what ROI is, return on investment. People know what key performance indicators are. KPA is simply a key performance action. So what is the action that you are going to take? Because that is something that you can measure. That's something you can test. What are the key performance indicators? That is generally the outcome. Yeah. And if you know that the actions, you know, if you measure the actions you took and you measure the outcome you achieved from those actions, you will know which things are more effective than others. You can then look at the impact that those outcomes have on the end result. And that's where you can get your return on investment. The last one I've just put in there is CLV, which stands for customer lifetime value. And that is rather than looking at your customer value as a 1 sale or a 2 sale or over a year, you might invest more in your marketing to think, well, how much will that person spend with me over the lifetime that we work together? And if you're looking at it like that, then that may free up more investment for you to invest in that customer. So the final questions is, how well do you know the relationship between your actions, your outcomes, and your results? You can mark yourself out of 10 on that one. And specifically, log them down. You don't have to share them with me. These are for you. This session is for you. What actions are you going to take from today to improve your marketing? I'd like you to all log down an action that you're gonna take. And if one of those actions is just following up to understand more and pick up with questions for me, then that is absolutely fine. So I would like you all to begin with the end in mind. So when you start and when you're thinking about your marketing, think about what you want to achieve. Think about the end results and start there. Has anyone got any questions they want to ask now within the room? I do have 5 minutes if people have any burning questions now. I'm getting some thanks coming in, so thank you very much for all of the positive feedback in the chat. Thank you for your participation, and we're here at ActionCOACH to support you and the local business community. So please reach out and get in touch if there's anything we can help you with. Be it your planning, we've got a growth club coming up next Friday. If you need support with your marketing and this has raised more questions than answers to you, then book in a session with myself and we can discuss it further. Thanks very much for everyone for attending, and I look forward to speaking to you very soon. Thank you very much.
Thanks, James. That was really interesting. Enjoyed that. Thank you.
My pleasure. Thank you. Loads of thank yous. Thank you, Alex. Thank you, Jessica. Thank you, Paul. Excellent. Thank you very much for attending, guys. Have a great rest of the day and great rest of the week.
See you later. Bye.
Take care.